for your girl.
That's right, it's a podcast.
It's pop for your girl.
We're trying to go out.
Pop for your girl. It's pop for your girl.
Hey, what is up, you guys? It is your girl, Nwugochi Alice Lewis here, and welcome to Pod for Your Girl. Listen, we are back with another solo episode. It's your girl, Nwugochi here, and I am solo dolo for this episode, but guess what? Nevertheless, this is going to be an amazing episode, y'all. I'm talking about a topic that every woman deals with, okay? Not just women of color, but every single woman out there is dealing with this. And yes, we are talking on this episode about competition, okay? I don't know why competition is a thing, but it is. It's a thing when it comes to, women, whether it's competing for your looks, whether it's competing for a spot, whether it's competing for a position, whether it's competing to be better than somebody else. It is a thing in the women world, and we would be amiss if we just ignored it and not say anything about it on Pod for Your Girl. So we got to talk about it. We're going to call that thing forward today, and we're going to put competition front and center. Listen, competition, stand right here. We're going to put you front and center, and we're going to put the spotlight on you, and we're going to really break down competition. And I really want to encourage each and every woman out there, not really to run from competition, because I do believe in a little friendly competition. I do believe in competing, but in the right way, which we'll get into in the faith-filled segment. But for the Pat Your Weave segment and the Go Girl segment, we're going to take the Go Girl and the Pat Your Weave, and we're going to kind of combine it, and we're going to talk about a situation that happened in the media within the last couple of weeks that has just been blowing through the charts. Every blog, every person is talking about it, but they're talking about it from a space of, I want to say they're talking about it from a space of gossip. Okay. Like, I don't want to talk about it from a space of gossip. I want to talk about it from a space of, let's look at this thing. Let's call it what it is. And let's see how us as women of color can move forward in our community with healthy competition, but not, competing with each other to a place where it causes us to be insecure, where it causes us to lack trust, where it causes us not to walk in our purpose, where it causes us to lose sight and lose focus of the things that God has for us. Okay? Now, y'all, I want to tell you guys, my nose, y'all may feel like I sound a little bit stuffy. I do, because I live in Georgia. I live in Atlanta, where it is pollen season, and this pollen is just driving me through the roof, you guys. So y'all gonna have to bear with me with my pollen. Listen, I have my Stanley cup here. I have my water, okay? Yes, I'm going to be sipping on this water if y'all hear me getting congested, because it's a lot going on, okay? But I want you guys to be encouraged in this episode, because, listen, competition got to die today, okay? It got to die today. So let's get into it. All right, so in the last couple of weeks, first of all, let's call out the Go Girl. My Go Girl this week is Phylicia Rashad, okay? Phylicia Rashad is the mom on The Cosby Show. So for those of y'all who don't know her, she's the mom on The Cosby Show. And that's the known role that she, is known for all over the world. But she's so many different things. She is an actor. She's a philanthropist. She's so many different things. And please go look her up. But she was on The Breakfast Club this week. And it was after the whole blow up. Y'all already know where I'm going. I'm going to talk about the Jess and Lauren situation. We're going to talk about that in the Pat Your Weave segment. But I want to talk about Phylicia Rashad, because when she was on The Breakfast Club, she just brought so much positive energy to the table. And, one of the things that she was talking about like how women dress nowadays, and how women just don't go outside with, they just don't be having nothing on nowadays. And she was like, in Hollywood and, the actors and stuff nowadays, they just don't be covered up. And I want to talk to all of my ladies out there. Let's just talk about modesty for a second, y'all. I believe in the power of modesty, okay? I believe in the power of not giving them everything, showing everything all at one time. Listen, give them something something to think about, to wonder about, to dream about, right? Not just putting it all out there, right? And that's what Felicia Rashad was saying. She was just saying, like, it's just a different day and age. And she was like, she was reminiscing back to like the Billie Holidays and the, women of color back in the day, like that were singers and artists and stuff. Like they were regal. They had like gowns on down to the ground, but they were like suited and booted. And she was like, but they came with it. They came with it. They had so much class about themselves, right? And so I just want to talk about that for a second, about how she was just bringing this energy back. And one thing that she was exuding was confidence, y'all. Confidence was just coming out of her in her interview. And I'll tag the interview down below so y'all could go watch it. But she just exuded confidence. And one thing that I love about what she was saying when she was talking about the women just dressing, half naked and stuff. I'm not trying to throw no shade, but one thing I will say is that you don't have to show it all in order to gain respect, or you don't have to show it all in order for you to be taken seriously in your artistry, in your craft, in your lane, right? And I think that a lot of women, they look at, the Glorrillas, they look at the Cardi B's, and they look at the Nicki Minaj's, and they say, I have to conform to this. I have to be this in order for me to get seen or to be able to be taken serious, right? And what Felicia Rashad was saying, was no, you don't have to, compete with that. You don't have to and this is a different type of competition. Like, I know we're going to dissect competition, y'all. We're going to dissect it, because if you make up in your mind that this is the standard for the industry that I'm going into, whether it's, law or music or dance or, any area of your life where you're saying, this is the industry standard. Now I have to meet that standard, and I have to walk like how these other women are walking. I have to compete with them, because if I don't compete with them, then I'm not even in the game. I'm not even in the running. I'm not even in the list of, popular artists. We're going to stay in what Felicia Rashad was talking about. We're not even, taken serious in Hollywood, right? If you don't look like the other women. So you guys all do have to compete. And so I thought it was just so important what she was saying, what she was giving us a view of, because in her eyes, she came up when women didn't have to do all of that. It was literally just I am going to show up like how I am, and I'm going to be taken seriously because I'm going to be beautiful. I'm going to be regal. I'm going to be put together. I'm going to be classy. I'm going to be polished. I'm going to be well taken care of. My skin is going to be glowing. My hair is going to be glowing. And she started to make so much sense. You know what I mean? Because it was you're more so confident in who you are versus being confident that you look like the next person. So you're finding your confidence in that, right? And so, y'all, I had to give her the go, girl, because she just had me looking at competition in such a different way. She had me looking at competition wow, this is how, the world wants us to depict ourselves. But do we necessarily have to play that game? You don't have to play that game. You can still show up glowing, on point, dapper, suited and booted, confidence, regal, looking good, doing your thing, and that is enough. And for the people who don't feel like that's enough, then that's on them. But for yourself, for your own self, as your own individual, that you showed up in the best way that you could for yourself, right? And so I think a lot of times we can put trust in showing up like the industry standard. We put our trust in that. So if you show up like the industry standard, now you will do a good job. Now you will look the part. Now you will feel the part. Now you look just like, Glorilla and Cardi B and Nicki Minaj versus looking like, Nwugochi versus looking like Felicia Rashad. Could you imagine Felicia Rashad dressed like Cardi B? I just want to ask y'all, could you guys imagine her dressed like Nicki Minaj? Could you guys imagine her dressed like Glorilla? What if Felicia Rashad said to herself, oh, the times are changing, and I got to change with the times. If I want to be, if I want to look good, I got to go get this BBL. I got to look the best, and so we start to not even just have like a competition with other women. We start to compete with ourselves, and we start to say, oh, I have to keep up with this standard. I have to keep up. So in order for me to do that, let me change the way that I am. But with Felicia Rashad, even though I don't even know how old she is, she has to be like in her maybe 60s or 70s. And in that, she is still so beautiful, y'all. So beautiful, so beautiful. And so I just really want to give her the go girl because she has been able to maintain this level of class, this level of classiness, this level of classic. Okay, when I look at her, I just think classic woman, classic individual, the mother for the Cosby Show. She was just classic beauty, you know what I mean? And she's just been able to maintain that her entire life. She's never let industry standards change her or cause her to, do stuff to her face, do stuff to her body, do stuff in order to keep up with the Joneses, right? In order to compete with industry standards. No, she is like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm going to show up. If y'all want to give me the part, right? But if not, hey, that's on y'all because I'm Felicia Rashad, okay? Period. And so I think that as women of color, as women, we just have to start to understand, like, who am I? Who are you? What is your identity? And I just think that she helped in that interview to just run that back. And she did say she's not trying to offend any woman out there who dresses like that, but she did want to call that out. And so I'm really, really glad that she did, because we got to stop competing with ourselves, number one, okay? Stop competing with the industry standards, number two, okay? We need to stop that. Walk in who you are, be comfortable in who you are, and be confident in who you are, and trust and believe that the classic never goes out of style, okay? It never goes out of style. Felicia Rashad, she's not going out of style, okay? Okay, so we're going to get into, for the Pat Your Weave segment, we are going to get into the situation that happened with Jess Hilarious and Lauren LaRosa. Listen, now Jess is my girl. I don't know about y'all, but when she got the position with the Breakfast Club, I was elated, okay? Not just because she was a woman of color, not just because she's a Black woman, but because I have been following her skits on social media for a very long time. Like, I have been following her on social media, and I just was one of the people who thought that she was hilarious, okay? And just to see her hard work pay off, I thought was phenomenal. So to see her get the job at the Breakfast Club, I was like, go girl. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, there was a situation, and everybody has it like on the blogs. They have it on their social media, TikToks, everything. And I may be late to the party talking about it, but I wanted to talk about it, you guys, because competition between women of color, I just feel like is the devil, y'all. I just feel like it is just so wrong. Like, we should not be competing against each other. We should be lifting each other up. We should be encouraging each other. We should be being there for one another. We should be posting pictures of each other. We should be celebrating each other. We should be pushing each other and telling each other to go, win, do your thing. That should be our energy, y'all. And so just to see this in the media, I was not I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So everybody was just like, just she crashed out. She crashed out. She did this. She went crazy. She was talking all this stuff. She was going in on the Breakfast Club and dun dun dun. So then the next day, she actually got on the Breakfast Club and hashed it out with her team, with Lauren LaRosa, with DJ Envy, and with Charlamagne. And they all sat down and they talked about the situation live on air. Now, that's what I want to talk about really quick, y'all. And the biggest thing with that, I was proud of Jess for bringing it to the front. Listen, if you feel like you are in competition with any woman, the worst thing that you can do is slide to the background and be in your feelings. Be by yourself. Be in a corner somewhere. That is the worst thing that you could do, because now your thoughts are going to start to multiply and you're going to start to say, oh, well, why did she say that on the Breakfast Club? Why did she say that? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? And now you're thinking that everybody is out to get you and this girl is coming for your job and everything is one thing and you're believing that in your mind. However, is it the reality? And I just want to tap into competition, y'all, because I truly believe that Jess believed what she believed about Lauren LaRosa, but half of it was in her mind. I'm not discrediting anything that she said. However, I'm not discrediting how she felt. However, I do know that when you may be in a competition with someone and you bring it to them and they're not understanding, or you don't bring it to them, now, if you don't bring it to them, you're going to be thinking about it. Competition can be in your mind. It truly can. It can live and exist and breathe in your mind. And the whole time you're competing with someone else and they don't even know you're competing with them. They don't even feel like they are even competition. Listen, I looked at Lauren LaRosa. I looked at Jess Hilarious. Jess Hilarious literally has 5 million followers on Instagram. Lauren LaRosa has like 200 followers. And Jess, she's not even competition to you. And so, not in a bad way. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in your mind, she's competition because she's in your space. She's doing Jess with the mess. She's doing all of the things, right? But she is not even competition to you based on the things that she has accomplished in life. Really, Lauren LaRosa probably looks up to you, Jess. She probably, is truly encouraged by your work and encouraged by who you are, okay? Now, I want to come off of this situation a little bit and just talk about us as Black women and us as women of color, because sometimes we can live in our minds. We can live in our heads. We can live in a space where we think that we are competing with the next woman. Your next door neighbor bought a car, so you have to buy a car. Your next door neighbor bought a wreath on their door for spring, so you go buy a wreath on the door for your spring. Your next door neighbor planted flowers, so she planted flowers, so now you go plant your flowers. And now the next day, her rent is up. And she gets up and she moves on, and she didn't even own her house, and you own your house. You know what I mean? So this whole time you've been competing with somebody who doesn't even own their house, who doesn't even own the property. They were just renting that space for maybe 3 months or 6 months or 12 months or something like that. And now you're competing with them for no reason at all. Okay? Listen, I want you guys to be clear on this. As women of color, we all have our own journey. We all have our own insecurities. We all have our own struggles, our own things that we go through as women. Listen, your struggle is not my struggle. Your struggle is not your journey is not my journey. The things that you want out of life, I may not want out of life. So how can we ever compete? We are not in competition, y'all. We are not in competition. I'm going to say it again. We are not in competition. I think as women of color, we just have to lay it down and just say, we are not in competition. We are here to push each other, to help each other succeed, to help each other go further. I want to see my sis go further than I go. If my podcast gets to 1,000 views, I want you to get to 2,000. Okay. If my podcast gets to 40 subscribers, I want your podcast to get to 100. Okay. I'm always going to want my sisters, my friends, my family, people that I believe in to go higher and do more than what I have ever done. There is a friendly competition, which I do encourage friendly competition, where you guys may bake pies. Okay, let's have a pie baking competition, because friendly competition is going to make you be better in your craft. I may know how to make mac and cheese better than you know how to make mac and cheese. Okay. So I may not give you my whole recipe, but I may give you some tips. Like, don't use the chunky cheese. You got to use the shredded cheese. Okay. Don't use the condensed milk. You got to use the 2% milk. Okay. And so, there's a strategy that I may be willing to lend you, and it comes out of friendly competition. And so it doesn't mean that I'm necessarily competing against you or saying that you are a threat to me. It just means that iron sharpens iron. Okay. And it's okay for iron to sharpen iron. One day I'm going to be doing the sharpening, and the next day you're going to be doing the sharpening. But nevertheless, we are both going to be sharpening each other. Okay. And so that's how we have to look at it when it comes to competition, and not like it is not at the place where, oh, she's trying to take my spot. She's trying to take my shine. She's trying to steal my shine. She's trying to come for my thunder. She's trying to come for my job. She's trying to, take what's mine. No. And if somebody is doing that, if they're truly doing that, and it's not just in your head, like if you really believe like this individual is really trying to compete with you, you need to be like just hilarious and call that thing out. I'm not saying go on social media and just blast everybody, but I'm saying have a conversation with them and say, hey, it feels like competition is in the midst. Why does it feel like we're always competing? I don't like to compete with you like that. Why does it feel like we're always going back and forth? You got something, I got it, and you asking, how did I get it? And then you go get it. Why do it feel like that? And if that's something that you're uncomfortable with and you do not like it, her being your sister, you can address it, and it has to, get out of y'all relationship. And if it doesn't, then you got to pray about that, sis, and be like, hey, is this a relationship that I really want to be in? Because the competition thing I'm not into, and it seems to be getting harder and harder and harder. I hope y'all following along, because my nose just keeps on getting more and more stuffy, you guys. And I know it is nothing. It's so hard to listen to somebody when they have a stuffy nose. Like, so if you're listening to this on the audio and my voice is uncomfortable, please go watch it on YouTube, so that you don't have to just focus on the audio, but you can you can watch the video. Okay. All right. So the last thing I want to say about the Just Hilarious and Lauren LaRosa, they did the video that I thought was so cute. They remixed The Boy Is Mine, and they did a remix saying The Job Is Mine. And I thought that was so cute, because it let me see that, listen, yes, we had this beef, we had this drama, we had this issue, but that is squashed. That is in the past. We ain't doing that no more. We not here for that no more. We are trying to win, and we trying to win together. This is a key. This is a funny moment. Yes, everybody's saying that I crashed out, but at least that is water under a bridge, and I handled it, and now we're here. We're going forward. We're moving forward, and it's okay. I'm in a better place. I'm in a better space. Okay. Whew, y'all, I'm gonna try to make it through the faith-filled segment, y'all, because I wish I could just sit here and chat with y'all all day, but I am fighting for my life with this pollen, and it just don't want to let me be great. Okay. My nose is just stuffed up. So let's go ahead and go on to the faith-filled segment, y'all. So for the faith-filled segment, I really want to give y'all some encouragement about what the word says about competition. Yeah, did y'all know y'all can literally find anything in the Bible? If you need encouragement on any situation, you don't have to call your homegirl. You don't have to call your mama them. You can go to the word, and the word will have you some good old encouragement. All right. So Okay, I'm going to read 1 Corinthians 9:24-27. Do you not know that in a race, all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the game goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever, 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 ever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. Right? I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the price. And Paul here is talking about running a race and doing the best that you can while you are here on earth, staying in the race of salvation, staying in the race of faith, staying in the race and competing for salvation. Listen, he's talking about how, you know how you're running your race and you're on fire for God. And then you look to the left and then you see somebody and they're not on fire for God. And they're, not going the right direction. They're not doing the right things, but they may stop and they may be like, okay, I'm getting back on track, but then they're not. And then you're running your own race. So what Paul is saying is that the biggest race right here, the biggest thing that we have to compete for in this life is the race towards salvation, the race towards everlasting life. That is what you are truly competing for here on earth. And it's not like a competition where it's like you lose and I win. No, this is something that we are all fighting here on earth. And we're not fighting against each other, but we're fighting against spiritual stuff that causes us to not want to do our best, to not want to stay in the lane of salvation. And so we are competing against these principalities and these things, these forces that are trying to throw us off track. But Paul is saying, no, I'm not finna just beat the air. Like, I'm gonna strike a blow and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I will not be disqualified for the prize. So he's not saying that, we preach to others and we competing with other preachers, and we competing with other pastors, we competing with other evangelists, we competing with other people that's out here doing the same thing. No, you need to just stay in your own lane. Okay, when you get out here to do stuff, do it the best that you can. Not that you're competing with other people, but that you are just doing it the best that you can. Why? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be disqualified for the prize. Right? I want to make it to heaven. I want to make it to everlasting life. And this is what Paul is telling us. And so all this other competition, what he says right here is like, they do it to get the crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. So sometimes we're competing for the job. We're competing for the man. Y'all see all these relationship shows out here. You competing for the man, pop the balloon. You Love is Blind, and you out here competing, but all of these prizes and things, they won't last. The only thing that lasts that we should be competing for is heaven, is a seat at the table in heaven, is to everlasting life. This is what's going to last forever, y'all. And so this is my faith-filled segment, y'all. I hope I'm helping somebody that really feels like, you just been at a place of competition and, you're fighting for a job. But at the end of the day, one day you're going to have to leave the job behind. You're fighting for, a man, but one day you're going to have to leave the man behind. You're fighting to, your neighbors, but one day you may end up moving. You're going to have to move. You're going to have to leave that neighborhood behind, right? And so these things that we feel like we're in competition for, you're fighting for the spotlight. But guess what? The spotlight, you might have to leave the spotlight behind one day too. And so all of these things that we are competing for in a sense. I talked about my mac and cheese. You know, some people may want to compete with me for my mac and cheese. Bring it on. Bring it on. But at the end of the day, you know, your mac and cheese might be better than mine. But at the end of the day, what we even really competing for anyways? Because listen, we're going to have to leave the mac and cheese behind one day too. So all the competition that we go through as women, you dress better than me, your hair better than me, you look better than me, you got this, you got that, you got better eyelashes, you got better shoes, you got the things, the bag, the clothes, the money, the hair, listen, it's temporary, okay? Why are we even competing for that? Because you're gonna have to leave it all behind one day, okay? So I'm gonna go back and say, we shouldn't even be competing anyways, in a nutshell is what I'm trying to say, because we're competing for temporary things. I think that it's great when we could compete, and our competition is friendly competition, and it helps us push us towards the goal of what we are doing in the long run, like what Paul is saying, towards the kingdom, towards everlasting life, where our competition pushes us towards purpose and pushes us towards God and towards divine purpose for our lives. That, I think, is the main objective. And if your friendly competition, your accountability can push me in that direction and have me to say, oh yeah, I want to do better because, you know, you're doing better. I want to do better because, you know, I want us to go higher together in the kingdom. That's friendly competition. I want to, you know, seek the Lord with you because I see you growing so much in your faith. I want to grow more in my faith. That's friendly competition. Not, oh, I want to be better than that. Let me be. No. That's not what we doing. That's not what we doing these days, sis. We are causing each other to be better and pushing each other. And hopefully, as we push each other in the faith, we will grow together in the faith. And so friendly competition is good, but anything outside of that, let's leave that behind. Let's stop doing it. Let's leave it alone so that we don't enter into this toxic space of crashing out, y'all, because we don't want to do that. We want to really walk in our purpose and do purposeful things this year. And the only way we could truly do that is to be grounded, to take a little bit of Felicia Rashad, our Go Girl, with us. Take a little bit of encouragement from her. We don't have to look like these individuals. We don't have to compete with the industry standards. All we need to do is show up in ourselves, in our own confidence, in the confidence that God has already given us. And as we show up in that, we know that we are not striving to be anything outside of what the Lord wants us to be. Amen. Amen. All right, you guys, I'm about to go get me some nasal spray or something because, this was difficult recording this for you guys. So I hope you guys love this episode. I hope it is a blessing to your soul. It's a little bit of a short episode, but I just wanted to chime in on the competition that was going on. There was some more competition that I saw throughout the week. I didn't even get into the Marvin Sapp thing, and I wanted to talk about that, but we're not going to even talk about that. But y'all, there was some more competition going on that I kept on seeing, but I'm not even going to tap into that because I really got to go get this nasal spray. I got to clear this up, y'all, so that I will be ready for my next episode, y'all. The next interview, I am doing it tomorrow. It's going to drop next week, y'all, and it is with my girl, Sierra Fly Bobo. We are going to be talking about what it truly means to be the strong Black woman, y'all. And we're going to dissect that thing, y'all. So if you have been looking for strength in this season, this next episode, you don't want to miss it because we are talking about the strength, y'all. The strength of a woman, y'all. We are talking about that. So y'all don't want to miss it. You want to be here. You want to be in this episode, a part of this episode. Listen, set your notifications on, okay? Because it's going to be good. It's gonna be good. All right, y'all. Let me go give me some nasal spray. Let me go give me some Allegra. Let me go give me some Claritin. Let me do some things so that I can make sure I am ready for my interview tomorrow with my girl Sierra. And it is gonna be amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like, share, subscribe. Let somebody know that Pod for Your Girl is the podcast that you need to be listening to in this season, to be encouraged, to be lifted up, to be faith-filled, to tap into some pop culture and some politics, breaking stereotypes. We got a little bit of everything, but more than anything, it is a good old girl chat. So, till the next time, peace.
Pop for your girl.
That's right, it's a podcast.
It's pop for your girl.
We got to go out.
Pop for your girl.